Good morning. This is the bit where we make enterprise software sexy, even though it's 10 in the morning. So grab your seats. We have two luminaries who are helping businesses digitize in creative new ways. And I'm going to start by introducing Amit Singh, who runs Google at Work. Amit, just fill us in on the growing scale of Google at Work and how you're fitting in with all sorts of businesses around the world and what you're enabling them to do.
Sure. So every day, 5,000 businesses come online, discover the beauty of Gmail and Google Docs, and shut off their proprietary mail servers, I won't say from whom, and convert over to Google Apps. And I think all of you use it, so it's great. Thank you. Increasingly, new applications are being written for the mobile cloud world. And we bring the power of Google's cloud, both the infrastructure, the network, as well as our data platforms that allow you to handle very large data sets in real time, and all our APIs that we've sort of kept for the longest time for our own engineers, bringing it to web developers around the world. So these businesses, along with products like Android for Work, form the basis of sort of this new mobile cloud-centric architecture, both for developers as well as businesses.
And it's a very fast-growing part of Google. Amit was telling me there's thousands.
Fastest growing part.
The fastest growing part, with thousands of people working. We'll talk about some of the things you're seeing in a moment. But I just want to introduce Girish Mathrubootham from Freshdesk. Now, Freshdesk is enabling businesses to run customer service in very efficient new ways. But there's a backstory, Girish, isn't there, into how you got into this business?
Yeah. So good morning, everybody. Do you want me to tell the story? OK. So I'll keep the story short on how we founded Freshdesk and why. So it was 2009 when I was moving back from the US to India. And basically, I was shipping all my stuff, household stuff back. And 2.5 months later, the stuff arrives, and my TV was shipped broken. So I didn't worry. I had purchased insurance. So I thought it should be fairly easy to get my money back. So I contacted the company by email and phone calls. Long story short, 28 email threads, multiple phone calls, 5 months, but my money was not there. I wanted to know that as somebody who had built 4 help desks in traditional support, I was kind of frustrated that I was not getting the customer support that I deserved. So at that point, I just wanted revenge. I didn't care about money. So I went online and to a forum called R2I Club Forum, which is Return to India Club Forum. People who move back to India from the US actually use that forum. So I posted my story there with the picture of my broken TV. The next day, the president of the company came and apologized. And the next day, my money was in my bank.
Wow.
So I realized that this is new. As somebody who was in the customer support domain, this was a paradigm shift happening in terms of customers not only talking to the company, but if I go online, and I'm able to realize that I have social power and force the company to support me. And I know that most of the tools out there were still focused on email and phone calls. So we built Freshdesk as a new next generation help desk, which lets you manage customers' inquiries via email, phone, website, chat, Twitter, Facebook, online communities. So that's how the idea came about.
And you've grown a substantial business with about 50,000 business customers now in 145 countries with backing from people like Accel, Tiger Partners, Google Capital. We'll talk in a minute about some of the trends you're seeing, but I want to start with Amit. We've heard a lot about the consumerization of the workspace and of IT for the workspace. What's the problem you're actually solving?
Well, enterprise technology is really, really bad. Traditional legacy you can't run it on mobile, you can't share easily. The data is fragmented everywhere. It's not surfaced to you in beautiful mobile apps that you can use in real time. And we tried to solve this problem, starting with bringing consumer products like Gmail and Google Drive and Hangouts to the workplace. So the experience is simple, it's easy, it's beautiful. Technology stays in the background. You don't have to do anything, it just works. And so we were trying to solve really for ourselves because we build all these products to run Google. We are a very demanding customer of our own engineers, and we said there's got to be a better way. And what we found along the way is that we were having a better experience in our consumer lives, versus our work lives, and so we decided to, over 7-8 years ago, release this suite of products to work. And lo and behold, there was such a hunger and a demand for these that this thing exploded. And like I said, now 5,000 businesses a day, over 5 million businesses around the world have actually do all their computing on Google Apps.
So is the desktop era over?
I think that, look, if you look at the traffic, right, that's one way of looking at it. A couple of quarters ago, in the enterprise, employees were spending more time on mobile phones than on desktops. So we had the crossover a few quarters ago. That means they were using their mobile devices as companion devices because they're still using desktops, for content creation mostly, and very specifically specific kind of workloads. But more and more time is going on mobile. So I would say that there's a continuum. Some people spend more time on desktops, others on mobile. But the future is going to be either exclusively or, for a high percentage of your time, you'll be on mobile.
Girish, you're delivering on mobile, on all sorts of platforms, allowing people to communicate with businesses through social channels, through traditional channels. What is the big shift that you're noticing that everybody here needs to be aware of?
So, see, I think in the context of desktop to cloud and mobile, so I think all of us here know that we all used desktop applications in the past, right? So, but as a product manager, it's the user experience, I think, is what is driving the shift to the cloud. So I'll just give one example. Like all of us used to listen to music using Real Player or Winamp Player. Some of you are young that you don't know that. But the pain of having to download the music, store it, organize it, and then listen to it, versus today signing up for something like Spotify, is actually takes away all of the pain and makes it easy for the consumer. So if you take the same context of user experience driving the shift, think about how many of you run startups here, are part of a startup? Okay. So see, today when you are young, you have you're traveling, you want to be able to access your customer support email from mobile, right? Or you want to be able to log in from wherever you are. The traditional customer support solutions, for example, used to be hosted in a client-server model. And if you want to, you're chained to your desk, and then you have to log in via VPN to access that. Now, all that is gone, right? So today, I can flip out my mobile phone and actually use the app to respond to the ticket. And I think that convenience is what is driving the shift. I would say is the number one reason why I know that anybody who's shopping for an enterprise app today in customer support or CRM, and Salesforce is a good validation for this, they're all shopping for cloud. Nobody's buying desktop solutions anymore.
And how do you compete with companies like Salesforce and their Zendesk? There's a lot of companies in this space now. What do you think differentiates the Freshdesk product and enables you to feel confident that you can win?
So I think we like to compete on the strength of the product. So there are always marketing companies, there are always strong product engineering companies. There are customers who value the brand more than the product. There are customers who like a better product. So I think we win on the product, we win on the price point, we win on the user experience.
Increasingly, people are collaborating in new ways with these new tools. I mean, Freshdesk enables people to collaborate in answering queries. Amit, how do you see this trend affecting how you're designing the products? What kind of things are businesses looking for that maybe 5 years ago they weren't?
I was talking to the chairman of PricewaterhouseCoopers, company that just actually moved from their legacy stack to Google about this very topic. And they've actually done a bunch of studies here that we were discussing. It's the new economy, the sharing economy, and the millennials combine to create a workspace culture which is open, transparent, and collaborative by nature. This is the culture of the companies are changing. And so what used to be interesting where you could work alone, right, on your desktop, on some productivity thing or the other, and then send it as an attachment over, just as an example, right, is being replaced by a sharing model where you put it all in one place and you're working on it together. And that concept applies in video where people are converting to online meetings and different experiences like that. And we were chatting about companies like Slack, done a nice job doing group messaging in the workplace context. And so the future of work is fundamentally going from individual human productivity to teams, group sharing, transparency, real time. And the new architecture that we're describing here is really built for that.
Does that mean email is about to die?
Email, gosh, there is more email now than there ever was. I can give you the stats if you're ever interested. And time in email is also increasing. However, the way you use it is starting to change. It's becoming more real time. It's sort of getting more collaborative. So those of you who haven't tried, try Inbox. It's powered by Gmail. It's a new UI, and it tries to bring the best of the rest of the world into your email. You can do like snooze things. You can take actions. It's very open and collaborative versus kind of stuck in a certain older place.
Can I answer that question? So I was talking to two people or multiple influential people yesterday about trying to understand China. And actually, I think we can say that email is essentially dead in China because everybody uses WeChat. People are saying, at least like 4 people that I talked to, and these are very, very influential people, they were all saying, nobody likes email in China. Everybody likes WeChat. So.
One of the key concerns a business has is protecting its data. Terrified that there'll be a security breach. Now, if I put all my data as a business in the cloud, am I not running a risk that that cloud could be accessed? How are you protecting, Amit, the businesses that you work with?
Yeah, actually, sort of the way we think about it is the cloud is a lot more secure than most companies are on, who've built bespoke systems, different routers, different software patches, browsers all over the place, different mobile access. We know what it takes to secure Google, for example. We have hundreds of engineers dedicated. We built everything from scratch, from our data centers to our networks to all our software platforms. And it's hard. It's really hard to do it. I feel bad for most risk and security officers on how they're going to handle it. In fact, I don't know if you remember the Sony hack from last year. And we helped them release the movie on a Google platforms, YouTube and Google Play, because we had spent so much time and energy like protecting our network. We felt confident, not to say that things can't happen, but it takes a lot of money. It takes people and engineers to actually do this right. And in my view, this movement to cloud will accelerate because of security, not in spite of it.
So I think to just add to Amit's point, you can also say, like, if you think about data security, where is your money safe? Is it in your own house or in the bank? So I think cloud companies are in the business of data security and not in the business of selling software, because we know that if we lose a customer's data, we are finished. We are out of business, right? So
there's a lot of startups at Rise thinking, I'd love meetings with these two. Girish and Amit might want to buy my business someday. Just give them a bit of a hint. What kind of businesses would you take seriously? Where do you see the gap that the startups can fill?
I think build products like Freshdesk, right? I mean, built on, few small engineers, great idea. Sort of it goes at the scale problem of small business help desk support, like we do that with Google Apps, like Gmail and Drive. Either build something that, like we're not going to build, we're a platform company, we do certain things, build something alongside us, integrated with our platform like these folks have done. That's a good way to do it. Or like do something in the cloud space to help bridge the legacy migration of workloads from the old to the new. Like you can do it with a surface area like they've done where the old world has helped us a certain way, the new world You can kind of bridge that over. So those would be two suggestions. But
And
I'm sure you have.
when you see a product, Amit, like Slack, which is growing very, very quickly, do you think, damn, we should have created that? It wasn't too dissimilar from aspects of Google Wave, which launched 6 years ago?
We have lots of regrets, trust me. We have enough misses that are very public. We try a lot of things, and Wave was well ahead of its time, I thought. I think the sharing and collaboration Wave, which is now part of Google Docs, was very cool. I think it had Slack-like functionality, but a little too far ahead. So yeah, too many regrets to actually mention here on stage.
So thanks, David, for the question. I think you put the thought in Amit's mind. Like he's
I
considering.
get a commission, by the way.
He's considering buying Freshdesk, and it'll be. So I would like to actually say to the entrepreneurs here, don't build the company thinking of how to sell or whom to sell it to.
Yeah.
Companies are always bought, never sold, right? So basically, if you build something that users love, that's probably generating lots of revenue, and you will always be attractive. People will find you, and they will fund you or buy you. So.
No, I agree. That's well said.
Now, we got two people who are at the heart of the transition in the workplace. We're moving from desktop to mobile. We're changing the way we manage information. Let's just look ahead about 5 years. And based on the trends you're seeing now, how is the way that we work going to change over the next 5 years?
Oh boy. Predictions are always tough. One thing that we've been thinking a lot about is the current use of mobility, increasing use of mobility at work, essentially takes your old process, some sort of version of your app, and puts it on a mobile phone so you have access to it. And that's a valuable thing, right? I think that's a good thing. We all agree it unlocks information. However, it's the opportunity to create a in-context, intelligent assistant in real time for you at work is a very powerful idea. Imagine if, you're a salesperson, a customer service person, you're going into a client meeting, and without you doing anything, certain cards sort of surface with information, the latest stats, information about what this client is doing outside of tweets, et cetera, that come together at the right time. They surface to you before you even want them or ask for them. That kind of intelligence allows a much richer client interaction. You haven't done anything, you're super productive, and you're applying both the phone's telemetry, your enterprise data, potentially consumer data out there in the cloud to create that kind of experience. Probably not articulating it as well as I should, but that idea of mobile intelligence in context, cognitive real time,
so artificial intelligence will enhance the way we interact with colleagues.
I totally believe it. Yes.
And then Google has bought a company called DeepMind, which is working on a very ambitious form of AI.
DeepMind and many other things we do, you said, we were talking about Google Photos, so those of you who've used it. The magic is not the unlimited storage for life for free. It's the auto-organization of all your photos in different ways and being able to search them all. And you get your kids' pictures all the way from what they are now to when they were a baby.
Last word, Amit. It's 2020. How have things changed?
So basically what I think is, if you look at, we all know that 90% of the world consumes, 10% creates. So it's the creation that's just remaining in the desktop world. I think that's the last bastion standing. The consumption has all moved to cloud and mobile. So, and it's chipping at creation, like Photoshop or things like that. So I think we will probably wait and see when it falls completely.
So Girish Mathrubootham from Freshdesk, Amit Singh from Google. I'm David Rowan from Wired. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.